The president cited preliminary reports showing that coverage for the third dose of the pentavalent vaccine increased from 33% in 2016 to 63% in 2019. Now he assured that the government would increase funding to the health sector through the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund and other initiatives. The president assured that the government will improve work on routine immunization performance, contain outbreaks of the circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus, strengthen surveillance against wild poliovirus, and curb the spread of COVID-19.
To announce that despite the coronavirus pandemic, we are gradually making progress towards achieving the targets set out in Nigeria's strategy for immunization and primary healthcare system strengthening. Preliminary reports show that coverage for the third dose of the pentavalent vaccine increased from 33% in 2017 to 63% in 2019, dropping to 56% in 2021 due to the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. However, there is a lot more to do. Gavi's disbursement of a total sum of $1.5 billion United States dollars in grants to support immunization and health system strengthening in Nigeria since 2001 has significant results, but I know that as partners, we would all like to see this translated into an improvement in our health indices and outcomes, particularly in the area of maternal and newborn.
The Shehu of Borno has called on the federal government to continue its oil exploration in the state. Now, the royal father made the appeal during a one-day official visit of Vice President NEWSPLUS to Borno State for the commissioning of multiple projects and launching of MSME clinic. The reports.
Vice President, together with the state governor, commissioned completed projects which include Legacy Doctors Quarters, Resilience Commercial Center, Children Learning Center, road projects, and others. He also paid homage to the Shehu of Borno. The royal father wants the federal government to continue exploration of oil in Borno.
More so, considering the relative peace in Borno State, I wish to also appeal to Your Excellency for the resumption of oil exploration in the Chad Basin, which was suspended due to the insecurity.
The Vice President was at the State Government House for the launching of Micro, Small and Medium Clinic, which witnessed the exhibition of products by business owners. Professor Yemi Oshibajo said that President Buhari has directed the establishment of a world-class facility to drive the growth and development of MSME in Borno State.
Furthermore, Mr. President has directed that such a facility must reflect the choices of the people of the state and must be commissioned within the next 4 months. To participants at this clinic, let me repeat as I've said to some of those that we've met already. This clinic is for you. An MSME clinic is like a hospital for small businesses. To make your complaints to the secretariat team or to the regulatory authorities. And I'm sure that all the issues will be addressed satisfactorily. And since you have them with you, you can make suggestions and observations to them.
In view of the security challenges we are going through, the Borno State government have in the last 2.5 years of this administration committed huge resources in the rehabilitation and settlement drive in order to redefine the image of the state as it is known and still home of peace and hospitality. In this regard, we have executed over 556 projects spread across the state, among which are those commissioned by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari.
The newly launched MSME will also help in addressing challenges affecting the sector, which include financial constraints, technological drawbacks, human resource capacity, and access to markets. Bitrus Kuruti, Viewer Television News, Maiduguri.
Still in Borno State, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said the federal government will empower repentant Boko Haram members to be self-reliant. Now, he disclosed this when addressing repentant Boko Haram fighters at the Hajj camp of Air Force Base in Maiduguri. The Vice President was on an official visit to Borno State to commission multiple projects and launch of the MSME clinic.
About 500 have been integrated in the last and that you also want to settle down and work as peaceful members of our country. And the desire of the federal government is to make sure that we settle you well so that you can do your own work and your business and you can live with your families in peace. We will be working with you and with the state government and with donor agencies and friends to ensure that we are able to provide you with a means of not just income but a place where you can settle down with your families and do your own work and do your own business.
President Muhammadu Buhari has applauded the BUA Group for its strides in narrowing the gap between demand and supply of cement in the country. Now, the president spoke at State House, Abuja, while receiving a top delegation from BUA Group led by the chairman Abdul Rabiu on a thank you visit. President Buhari had last month visited Sokoto to commission the line 4 of BUA cement, which would ensure further availability of cement, of which Nigeria suffers about 3 million tons deficit. The BUA Group chairman, Abdul Rabiu, said BUA Group was currently building more factories in 2 different parts of the country, which will contribute about 6 million additional tons of cement supply. The chairman said the support of President Buhari for Nigerian enterprise was unflinching, as it has been their major encouragement to add more value.
I congratulate you for proving to us Nigerians that it's not only Dogon Turanchi that matters. Yes, there's one productive angle which God has given to all Nigerians. So I thank you very much for coming. I'm very pleased with this visit. I thank you very much. I wish you much more success. And I'm pleased that you have employed people across Nigeria.
Nigeria today has a local supply deficit of about 3 million metric tons of cement every year, a number which is ever increasing. This is why we'll continue to invest in the development of new plants across Nigeria. In addition to our new Sokoto plant, we are currently constructing 2 other plants in Edo State and Sokoto, which will be completed next year, inshallah. They will add an additional 6 million metric tons annually when they start production, and will go a long way in bridging the current supply gap as well as bringing the prices of this important commodity down.
And on Russia-Ukraine unrest, the federal government has announced that it has made necessary arrangements to evacuate to safety stranded Nigerians in Ukraine who have been caught up by the Russia-Ukraine war through 4 borders between Poland and Ukraine. Now, this is as Russia's bombing of Ukraine enters the 3rd day, with thousands of Nigerians stranded in Ukraine desperate to flee the country. This was made known by the chairman, chief executive officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, in a viral video, where she said that there are 8 borders between Poland and Ukraine, with the agency recommending 4 to Nigerians for use. Now, Abike Dabiri Erewa asked those in eastern Ukraine to endeavor to move closer to the border, especially western Ukraine, through train or bus, and cautioned that moving towards the border could come with its own dangers, noting that it was important for affected Nigerians to keep their passports and the student visa as they plied the route towards the borders. The House of Representatives has deliberated on a bill aimed at taking punitive measures against workers in the banking sector who indulge in fraudulent activities. Now, under the proposed legislature, sponsored by Representative Francis Wave, those found guilty could be jailed for a term from 10 to 20 years in addition to forfeiture of assets. The report.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, represented by the House Leader, Alhassan Adudogwa, employs stakeholders to work together with the committee to strengthen legislation to boost the banking sector.
Technology change, culture change, the law also changed to ensure that our system does not become susceptible to the machinations of bad actors. So our purpose here is to work together as legislators and major stakeholders in this subsector to consider this and strengthen legislations that are helpful tool in ensuring that operators in the banking system act with utmost integrity, taking care to avoid every appearance of corruption or backhand dealing.
Officials from the EFCC Code of Conduct Bureau, the CBN, and the NLC made presentations during the public hearing in support of the amendments, but it was not without some adjustment to some sections of the bill.
This proposed amendment bill is seeking to substitute that word appropriate authority with the central bank. Honourable members, I find this proposal, in my opinion, justiciable and justifiable, since by the provisions of the Central Bank Act, it is the central bank that exercises regulatory control, supervises, and issues guidelines to all banks and other financial institutions as specified in the Principal Act. It is therefore justifiable and naturally should be the appropriate authority to require bank employees to declare their assets, and it is the central bank also that should take further steps to verify such declaration. And it is the central bank that may ensure the enforcement of the provision of this act in case of any breach by any employee of any of the banks under its control.
Of the intention of the amendment bill to include all financial institutions under the purview of other regulators for the application of the act, we suggest a change in the title of the act from Bank Employee Declaration of Asset Act to Financial Institution Employee Declaration of Asset Act. Consequential amendment should be made accordingly, Mr. Chairman.
And proposed amendment to Section 1 of the Principal Act, which provides inter alia that an employee shall declare his assets, including assets of his spouse and unmarried children under 18, immediately after assuming duty. Our view is that this amendment should be limited to the assets of the bank employee alone, as it may not be feasible for the employees to make full declarations in relation to his or her spouse's assets for various reasons.
We do adopt part of the submission made by Central Bank, where it highlighted the area of changing the title of the bill from bank employees to financial institutions employees, ETC Act. We're also seeking for the extension of the application of this bill to cover the designated non-financial institutions, in addition to the financial institutions. This is part of the designated non-financial institutions, those that have been designated. This is one of the submissions we have made.
The bill particularly seeks to amend Section 5, Clause 1 of the Act by substituting the existing words with the chief executive of every bank shall once in every year, but no later than 7th January, submit to the Appropriation Authority a list of all employees who joined or left the employment of the bank in the immediate precedence, 12 months expiring on the 31st December of the preceding year. The Speaker.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control says it has inaugurated 73 new Hilux vehicles, selling cars and staff buses to enhance operational efficiency. Now, this was disclosed by the agency resident media consultant Olusayon Akintola in Abuja on Sunday. The statement quoted the agency Director General Professor Mojisola Deyeye as saying that vehicles would address many challenges faced by agency in its operations. Now, she said it would put a stop to the compromising situation where clients bring their vehicles in a ferry to the agency's staff or site for inspection. According to her, it is not encouraging when staff of the agency depend on their clients to transport them to the factory for inspection. Adeyeye said that each state needs to have at least 3 Hilux vehicles, adding that the new vehicles will be used by officials of Food Safety and Applied Nutrition Directorates. Worried that some marketers sell their premium motor spirits above 465 naira, the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers has promised to sanction errant filling stations. Now, the Petroleum Union body directed marketers who have taken advantage of the current fuel scarcity and long queues occasioned by influx of contaminated fuel to revert to the official depot price in the next 24 hours. Now, in a statement issued by the union's president and general secretary, Prince William, and Afolabi Olawale, revealed that unscrupulous marketers were selling fuel from the depots at prices far above the official rates, aimed at forcing illegal increases in the pump price, compounding the woes of the masses in the midst of fuel scarcity. The union's president and general secretary threatened to name and shame the affected marketers if they continued with their illegal action. The Nigerian Communications Commission has discovered a newly hatched malicious software that steals users' banking app login credentials on Android devices. The NCC spokesperson Ikechukwu Adide disclosed in a statement. The malware, which was discovered by the NCC's Computer Security Incident Response Team, steals credentials combined with the use of SMS and notification interception to log in and use potential two-factor authentication tokens. Now, Dide further explained that once up and running on a victim's device, Xenomorph can harvest device information and SMS, intercept notifications and new SMS, perform overlay attacks, and prevent users from uninstalling it. Now, he said that the Commission has advised telecom consumers to be on alert in order not to fall victims of this manipulation. Now, let's take it to Plateau State, where the Independent National Electoral Commission has declared Musa Aga of the People's Democratic Party as the winner of the Just North Basel Federal Constituency in Plateau State. ANEC returning officer and senior lecturer at the University of Jos, Dr. Yinka Oyeride, announced the results of the election in Jos. According to the returning officer, the PDP candidate, who currently represents Irigwe Rukuba State constituency in the Plateau State House of Assembly, scored 40,343 votes to defeat his closest rival, Mohammed Akali of the People's Redemption Party, who scored 37,757 votes. The candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress, Abe Aku, came to a distant third position with 26,111 votes. Key stakeholders are supporting the establishment of the NYC Trust Fund, aimed at providing a sustainable source of funds for NYC, payment of corp allowance, and to serve as startup funds for the past corp members. Now, at a public hearing to establish the NYC Trust Fund and Youth Entrepreneurship Development Trust Fund and a management team to administer the funds, the National Assembly, Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports, Nigerian Law Reform Commission agreed that the Trust Fund is long overdue. The reports.
This public hearing has been convened by the House of Representatives Committee on Youth Development. Sponsor of the bill, Akin Folari Muyiwa, EPC lawmaker from Ondo State, explained the great benefits of the bill to Nigerian Youth Corp and Nigeria at large.
Some of the reasons for establishing the NYSC are not far-fetched. One is to inculcate the spirit of nationalism and patriotism in our youth, to encourage graduates in nation building. Thirdly, to emphasize the spirit of oneness and brotherhood of Nigerians, irrespective of cultural, religious, and social of their social background.
The Director General of NYSC, while supporting the bill, says once the COP members are empowered, it will go a long way to curb criminality.
Access Bank, Unity Bank, amongst others, have been able to establish their own business. For those of you that watch our program, NYSC half hour, every Wednesday by 7:30, we had one yesterday. You can agree with me that the COP members are doing a lot. And once given this opportunity of adequate training for in-camp and post-camp training, on skill acquisition and entrepreneurship empowerment, the core members will do a lot. Once they are empowered at the end of the service, what they get where they are provided startup capitals. I don't think there any act of, they will go to any act of criminality. And once they are engaged, don't engage you to go and carry AK-47.
Representing the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports, Amina Daurang, as Director of the Ministry, says the establishment of the fund will lessen the burden on the federal government to pay the monthly stipends.
Establishment of the fund will lessen the burden of the payment of monthly federal allowances of core members. That means freeing up funds for the federal government to attend to other areas of critical needs.
The House Committee is expected to submit a report before the House for further legislative action.
As part of efforts to reposition nursing education and practice in Kaduna State, nurses have been called upon to remember their primary purpose as caregivers. These were the reminders in a two-day workshop organized by the National Association of Nurses and Midwives Kaduna State Chapter in collaboration with the Department of Nursing Kaduna State Ministry of Health. In her address, the Kaduna State Commissioner of Health, Amina Baloni, says nurses are the largest professionals in every health facility. Therefore, their conduct can go a long way in making a positive impact on the people. While fielding questions from newsmen, the state chairman of Association Ishaku Yakubu and other stakeholders says the program is geared towards training nurses based on the ethics of the profession.
Citizens, the residents of the state and the country at large.
Every participant here, whether you are a nurse or not a nurse, we want you to go with the mindset that we want to go back to the ideals. We want to produce quality nurses and midwives in Kaduna State, and let everybody go and provide quality education. And then the nursing ethics that we are known with, let us go back and enforce this nursing ethics.
I see a lot of passion in you and the way you carry out your duty, despite the poor working condition attacks, despite the poor remuneration attacks, despite the insecurity attacks, because nobody will pay you the work you are doing.
The national leadership of the College of Education Academic Staff Union has called for urgent dialogue with the Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, to resolve the lingering crisis at the Thai Salarian College of Education, Umuijebu. The union said its endurance is now at the brink and may be forced to resort to an industrial action following unsuccessful attempt to have an audience with the governor. Now addressing newsmen at a press conference in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, the union's national vice president, Oleshigun Lana, said the audience with the governor would afford them to bring to the table the win-win ideas that would help him consolidate his administration's laudable efforts in revamping the college. Lana listed the festering issues inherited by Bioden's administration to include accumulation of unpaid fractions of salaries spanning a period of 76 months, unremitted pension contributions, as well as promotion without financial effects, among several other demoralizing conditions. And that's all we can take on NEWSPLUS. Do stay tuned for the rest of our programs. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.